I'm James Heaney, and this is Brief News Brief. House Republicans backed down from gutting the ethics office after President-elect Donald Trump slammed them on social media. Who says his tweets can't change the world? Late Monday night, after dark and behind closed doors, House Republicans held a vote to strip the bipartisan Congressional Ethics Watchdog Group of its power. On the opening day of Congress, this was supposed to be ratified, but the whole effort blew up because Trump was like, no, that is not what Congress is going to do. He said, nuh-uh, you are too busy for this, Congress. Why is weakening the independent ethics watchdog on the top of your list? Within 2 hours of his tweets, the House Republicans withdrew the effort unanimously. The leadership of Congress was totally against this as it sparked up, but somehow the effort went forward, but Trump shut it down. The ethics office has been around for about 8 years, but it's not really a huge threat in the Republican Congress in general. It's in place to investigate anonymous complaints, conduct reviews, make referrals to law enforcement, and publish findings. The office would gather evidence and present them and then make the facts public. It was about transparency. It gave everyday citizens, or I should say gives everyday citizens, a chance to file ethics complaints about their congressman. The main trigger was the Abramoff scandal of the aughts. Today, on Capitol Hill, Congress is going to start the big debate over what to do about Obamacare. Since March of 2010, the Affordable Care Act, better known as Obamacare, has been a divisive partisan topic, sparking arguments, starting with rhetoric about death panels and continuing to dozens of attempts by the Republican Congress to repeal the law. Republicans have long criticized the law as expensive and ineffective. Democrats are unifying around the message that GOP is disorganized and their reforms are misunderstood. President Barack Obama will be taking a rare trip, super rare, to Capitol to discuss ways to strengthen the law and to warn how repeal without a replacement plan would create chaos. Now, Vice President-elect Mike Pence, on the other hand, will be meeting with Republicans on Wednesday as well to discuss repeal. President Donald Trump called Obamacare a total disaster on the campaign trail, but has shifted his own stance on the issue, suggesting after his election that he'd be willing to consider keeping some of the most popular provisions of the law. The rush to immediately chip away at Obama's regulatory and domestic policies through the complex process known as budget reconciliation could create months of messy GOP infighting. The plan to vote now on repeal and work out the details later means that Republican leaders will be slogging through the difficult process of writing a health care replacement while simultaneously trying to scale back regulations in areas such as clean air, immigration, and possibly tackling a tax code overhaul. Republicans have seized on unfavorable outcomes from Obamacare, such as evidence to support their conclusion that the law has failed. Insurers are fleeing the marketplaces that allow most people without an employer that covers insurance to get tax subsidized coverage. Now, consumers have faced unexpected costs, and patients have complained that they can't get access to the doctors or hospitals they want. But I'm left with the question, why would you want to go to a doctor or a hospital if you know it's occupied by death panels? Answer me that! We've reported on giant ice shelves crumbling into the sea, and today I stand before you reporting equally from both sides. In Hawaii, on December 31st, New Year's Eve, just recently, a 26-acre lava delta created at the Komakuna Ocean collapsed into the sea. Now, these deltas are created when lava flows into the water. It's like a long tube-like thing that cools and turns into almost land. Now, it had created a big area that people could come out and look at, but when they realized there was some activity going on, they closed this area off with some white ropes. But I'll tell you, there are some people that are adventurous enough that a little bit of white tape ain't gonna stop them. A group of 5 tourists decided to climb over the old ropes and have a look at them, at the deltas themselves. As they were going, 2 park rangers saw them, and it was like a damn action movie. They saw them over the ropes, and they're like, come on, we gotta go. And they ran after them and said, hey, you're not supposed to be over there. And the other people were still trying to go out. They didn't want to stop. Eventually, they did turn around, follow the rangers off of that area of land. 15 minutes after the park rangers dragged those idiots back, it all fell. 26 acres of this delta-created lava flow-cooled area fell into the sea. Now, I can't help but wonder, if the water gets desalinated when a big thing of ice goes into the water, what happens when 26 acres of lava rock goes in? Maybe nothing, but maybe something. It's poll tally time! First of all, please, somebody make me a new video intro to poll tally time. I don't want to do it anymore. It's embarrassing. But let's get to the polls. We have some results. They're still open, but I'm going to report where they're at because I'm confident it's not going to change much. Do you use Bitcoin? 76% of you say no. I think it's time to consider investing in Bitcoins. Secondly, how great was that Hollywood prank, brah? Well, turns out it's chronically amazeballs. It's a pretty good answer. And finally, what's your New Year's resolution? It's to watch more Brief News Brief. And you know what? From the looks of it, you're doing a good job so far. Congratulations on following through. Here are some new polls to be tallied. How do you feel about Obamacare? And tell the truth, no lying. How do you feel about it? Secondly, would you sneak past the ropes to get a good glance at a deadly lava flow? And finally, whatever happened to Pokemon Go?